You are now listening to Nexxlegacy Radio, a radio station for the people.
Put on, he's what can I say? He's lead vocalist, trumpet, keyboards, guitar. I mean, this man does it all. Mr. Felton is in the building of ConFunkShun. How you doing, sir?
Yeah, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm beautiful, man. I appreciate you taking the time to call in. And man, I gotta start out of the gate, man. Like I know you got a real good following, and you've had it for so long. I mean, does it kind of wrap your mind to see, after all this time, man, you guys are still not just doing shows, but the fan base is a generational thing. A lot of young people still appreciating ConFunkShun music, and the people that grew up on it, right?
Yeah, and it's still mind-blowing to me sometimes that it still surprises me that the folks, I'll go out shopping and folks say, again, aren't you Felton Butler with ConFunkShun? And it still surprises me, and I just can't express how blessed I am to be able to do that. Music has been my only source of income since 1972. It's a huge blessing, and I'm so grateful for it. But yeah, it still sometimes catches me by surprise.
Not just in the local spots in different states. There's other people. There's so many people out across the globe that's listened to, Too Tight and Love's Train and so many different hits and memories that ConFunkShun has, and even the international love is pretty big, huh?
Yeah, it is. We just played in Tokyo not that long ago, right? Play for 2 shows a night, sell out, two concerts a night, and there's a lot of members of the audience who don't speak English, but they know all the lyrics to California One. I mean, they learned the phonetic. I mean, it's amazing, man. It's such a blessing, like I said. Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. So let me ask you this, because when you were out in the Bay Area not too long ago, and of course you guys, it started out with high school students in Vallejo. Y'all was born out here. It was birthed out in the Bay. So I was able to see you guys perform a lot, and throughout my years growing up, I grew up on your music, and my thing that was always good to see was when a band really performed and really got down doing real good music. People can dance to it, but also the drums and the keyboards and everything was really kind of like in harmony. Like when you look at it now, and I know there's a lot of pockets of people still doing shows with bands. Like, I mean, get a listeners just really your experience from doing it as long as you've done it, and to still be able to have so many people appreciate putting on a real show as opposed to things being put on a track.
Well, we certainly owe a lot to our mentors, the folks that we admired when we were coming up. Of course, growing up in the Bay Area, in the late 60s and 70s, of course, Sly Stone from Vallejo, right? And of course, as a top 40 band,
right?
And I have to say this, as a top 40 band, the biggest compliment you can ever get is, gee, you guys sound just like the record, right?
Right. Right.
So we're a horn band. So like we're of course we're studying Tower Power like nobody's business. We show up at every concert we can just to watch how they're interacting with the audience, and the energy, and I remember sneaking in to go see Sly Stone. I mean, that was a crucial moment on me personally speaking, right? Watching them at Winterland doing the "Wanna Take You Higher." Oh, man, I can still see that in my mind. Just people going crazy and all the energy and the movement. And of course, as a top 40 band, we incorporated. Was to incorporate a lot of that into our stage show, and then we Sly Stone visually, and then audibly speaking, there was another band, Cold Blood. Cold Blood. What was it? What was the name of the other band? Sergeant Chaplin.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yes, so we were just following. Any band that had horns on there, we were there. Going there. Learning, absorbing this stuff like a sponge. So, it was once we got to Memphis, and we just brought all the stuff that we picked up from the area, and it seemed like none of the bands in Memphis were doing it, so that we were like sticking out like a sore thumb for a while, but that really worked to our benefit.
Right.
That's that visual thing that initially got us, signed to the record deal. Wait a minute, I gotta go back. Our other mentors, the Barkays.
Oh, yeah. Oh, come on, man. Yeah, the Parquets. Yes, indeed.
As we were watching them, they were that backup for Isaac Hayes and
right.
Otis Redding. So we picked up a lot from them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, what's really interesting in the way you're talking right now is because it just seems like you was a big student of music, from not just listening to, but also just kind of seeing what they do, and then turn it up some when you guys start performing and do your shows. You wanted to not trying to outdo. I mean, it's always a competitive nature. You always wanted to put your own signature on how you guys performed as a group. And can you actually? I'm pretty sure you can co-sign that right there, and the hard work you guys have put in for well over 35 years is the reason why you guys are still doing shows to this day, right?
Yeah. Yes. And as you were saying that, I was thinking along the lines that musically speaking, and I keep going back to the fact that when we were a top 40 band, right?
Right.
And of course, if we're going to sit down and learn an Earth, Wind, and Fire song, and to get it to sound just like the record, I would go and I knew exactly what the bass line was. I would sit there with some headphones and just study the guitar part. So now I know what the guitars are doing. Oh, wait a minute, there's two tracks of guitar. One guitar is doing this and the other doing that. The keyboard's doing this. And so when it came time to do our records, it was easy to go back and borrow concepts. Oh, wait a minute, this is how Earth, Wind & Fire would do their stuff. Or this is how the Ohio Players, one of our mentors, how that blend of the horns and how they integrate that along with the vocals. Oh, wait a minute, they're still playing with the vocals, but they're back in the background. And so, it was I can't say easy, but that it became a natural thing to just gather up all the stuff that we learned as a top 40 band,
right,
and studied as music. How did people who came before us do it? Well, we need to be doing that on our record. So
wow,
it's a natural thing to do.
Very good, very good, and it works. Obviously, Felton's Felton of ConFunkShun is our guest on Branded After Dark, and I mean, with a gold album and certified, a lot of #1 hits, and a lot of tracks that a lot of people still not just listen to today, but I talked about a lot of the artists, even in hip hop, like Lil Wayne sampled some from ConFunkShun. A lot of different people did a lot of different things. I know Drew Hill did something at one particular time with the ConFunkShun, stamp and things like that. So when it kind of migrates into the hip hop world, I'm pretty sure that's a humbling experience to be able to hear or say or whatever the case that certain artists, really was digging what you guys were doing and took a piece of, your history, so to speak, right?
It is very humbling to know that the same thing that I was doing, the people who came before me, it's very humbling to know that people are doing the same thing to me.
Right.
Oh man, where they're studying what I'm doing and appreciate it so much that they want to put it on their record or apply what they learned from us into their stage show. That's such a huge compliment, of course, this ain't nothing that you feel very old.
You know what? But you know what, Felton? You can't really say old, though. It's like, you can, let's just say timeless. Like, you know, you could. I think you get that timeless category, because I think if we put you in a box, we're not gonna open you up and be like, man, that's old. You know, nah, this is classic. In a lot of cases, in my opinion, because I grew up listening to you, it's needed. Like, you know, sometimes I have to go back and open up that ConFunkShun box and appreciate music for what it is, because sometimes it gets too hard out there, man. It's listening to, you know, a lot of stuff that's not organized, and I go back and I hear ConFunkShun music, and, you know, the music world's all right with me now. So, you know, I'm just throwing that out there.
Thank you, man.
It gets tough, though, but, you know, I mean, how do you like the industry nowadays, just the music industry in general, from record labels to groups and artists and things like that?
Okay. There's a lot of folks out here I like, you know, there are, but there's a lot of stuff, and it seemed to me that for a long time, and it's not gone yet, that mediocrity became the norm.
Right.
Where, you know, there was a piece of machinery that came out called the MPC 60, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for a couple of years, everyone who owned one was now a, quote, producer, unquote. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, that just because they were able to create a beat, now all of a sudden they became a producer.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it felt like the record companies were being inundated by a lot of, mediocre stuff. And again, in my humble opinion, it felt like, well, the record companies were saying, oh, well, if this is all the stuff that's out there, this must be the stuff that's happening.
Right.
Right? So a lot of stuff made on the radio that, you know, in my humble opinion, back in the day, it wouldn't have made it to the radio. It wouldn't have made it, you know.
That's true. That is true.
You know, there are some extremely talented, remember some extremely talented young men out there that I'm watching. I'm trying to steal stuff from them. Neil, for example. Neil, very talented young man. You know,
very true.
You know, I love listening to his stuff and listening to what he's doing with chord voicings and background vocals, and I can tell where he picked up some of his influences. Some of his background arrangements sound a lot like Michael Jackson's. How he would arrange his background.
Right.
Very, very, very talented young man.
Yeah, I feel like he's underrated. I think he's underrated as far as a go-to person, as far as, you know, like you said, music-wise. I feel like he's an underrated artist. I agree.
Yeah. I like what's his name? Kim. I like, you know, it's very, very.
Yes.
Subtle.
I seen him perform last year. I haven't seen him perform anything yesterday, but he's really good. He's really good.
Yeah. And I like what he's doing. Yeah, I mean, so yeah, it's interesting watching the new ones come up and trying to figure out where they're getting their inspirations and stuff.
Do you feel that there is more people trying to be famous versus trying to put out a good record?
Yes. I think that was well put. Well put.
With a capital YES, huh?
Yeah. You know what? I'm not going to mention names, but there was a young lady. I mean, not hard on the eyes at all. Really good dancer. And with the average voice. But that didn't stop her from selling millions of records. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And she's been on, judge on TV musical shows and stuff like that. You know, I mean, you know, I'm not saying that she's not talented, but, you know, again, that, let me go back. One of her albums, right, again, let me mention her names, was full of hit songs.
Right.
Her writers or the people who were doing her A&R, I mean, really did a great job of picking some great material and surrounding their producers. Did a great job of fitting her voice inside these great dynamite tracks, right?
Right.
And they made it work, right? So then that worked out well, as for again, but that's pointing more to the producers and the writers. There's a lot of folks that I have been working with in the studio. I mean, because I do a lot of production work. Yeah, and no, the bulk of it is not going to get to the radio because, you know, and I can say that for some of my clients, and this, I think this points to what you're talking about, right? They'll come to my studio and they spend, in fact, I hope they listen to this interview. But they'll spend the first 2 hours in the studio on the phone calling friends. Yo, man, I'm in the studio. I'm about to go. You know. So, you know. So it's always it's not about the craft.
Amen to that, though. I had to clap for that one, man. Amen to that. Amen. Amen. I hear you.
It's not about getting there and writing the best song you can. It's about the fact that you're standing in the studio.
Right, right.
So it's not the fame. It's no, it's not the craft. It's the fame. It's the recognition that you get from it.
Right.
And
see to me, Felton, I get kind of lost when I'm like you in a sense. You know, not like you in a way where you have massive instruments and you got a ton of talent. Like, I mean, I think everybody has a talent, but what I'm saying as far as a student of music. You know, to me, I think your appreciation for music shines because if you didn't have that appreciation, you wouldn't have, again, like I said, you wouldn't have lasted, well over 35 plus years. And sometimes I get caught into this, I guess you want to say quandary or whatever you want to call it, where I'm trying to show as much appreciation as I can to some of these upstart artists because, they were where, a lot of you guys were back in the day and just trying to find your way. But, we run into a lot of egos nowadays versus I think you guys back in the day were more humble to the point where, okay, you know what, I'm willing to try it as long as I keep my creativity. Because, ConFunkShun didn't sound like Earth, Wind, and Fire, didn't sound like Maze featuring Frankie Beverly, didn't sound like the Spinners. You guys had your own sound.
Oh,
you kind of get what I'm saying?
Wait a minute, it's not like we didn't try. I mean, here's the secret, right?
Okay, what's the secret?
Just be straight talk, right? You try to serve like Earth, Wind, and Fire,
right?
But since we're not, it sounds like ConFunkShun.
I get you.
And so I can sit here and try to sound like Eddie Levert. I mean, I love OJ and stuff. And as much as I try to sound like Eddie Levert, obviously it's not going to happen, right?
it still comes out ConFunkShun. It's still
There was one of my songs, and I caught myself singing it as if Eddie Levert would sing it, right? Now, most of the people listening would have no idea what that song is because it just sounds like something Pilot singing a song, right?
Right.
So I wound up taking that approach a lot of the time. You know what? I would just try to put myself into someone else's shoes that I admire because I really like how they deliver songs. But since I will never sound like it just sounds like something Pilot singing this thing, so I just accepted that.
I know that's right, man. I know that's right. Felton's our guest on Branded After Dark. ConFunkShun, great. When it comes to different shows and tours, and you guys are pretty active and really out there when it comes to that. And when it comes to all the talents that you have with the instruments that you command, what are some of the best band moments that you've had in your illustrious career that's ongoing? Like what are some real good band moments where you felt like, you know what, tonight, I know every night's a good night, but tonight was even better. It was better 10 times than normal.
Yeah. We did a tour where we hired these extra 2 horn players, for I think it was during the Spirit of Love tour. We hired this guy. We hired this guy fresh out of high school. His name was Marvin McFadden. I mean, this guy, and I'm not being racist, this little red-haired white guy, fresh out of high school, right?
Right.
But one of the baddest horn players. I mean, just phenomenal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we grabbed him, and we grabbed the guy who was 5 years older than the rest of us. He did summer horn arrangement sports. His name was Winston Wallace out of San Francisco.
Okay.
So now during our best horn parts, in addition to the three of us, we've got two more horns back there in the background, and there was more than one night when I'm sitting here, I'm in the middle of playing the horn part on Miss Got the Body or Got to Be Enough, and I'm like listening to this, I'm like, dang, we sound like what I always now it sounded like what I always dreamed that we should sound like on stage,
And only you would know that. Only you would know that. When you hear something, you're like, you know what? You've heard it in your mind, but it never really articulated or came out to the way you want it until that moment, right?
It is rare that it sounds like on stage exactly like what you expected to sound like. So that was a rare moment, for those who have never done a concert, or been on stage. Those little boxes on stage are supposedly to help us hear ourselves better and to get a good blend on stage. It rarely comes out perfect, and so all the time while we're standing there on stage, it's a balance between trying to look entertaining and going, dang, how come I can't hear this? What's going on? And so,
wow.
For us entertainers, usually it's we've just learned to compromise. Well, you know what? It's not going to sound it's not going to sound exactly like it. But there was that one one night. It's a dang. This is and so like, well, I don't know what the audience is feeling out there, but I know it sounds right up here. So it was so then it became more fun and and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then we've had, on the other hand, I mean, I got to share this story with you. We were on our second night out on tour with A Taste of Honey and hold on, let me think. Taste of Honey, us, Bootsy.
Okay.
And Bootsy.
Taking me back with A Taste of Honey, though. Oh, my goodness.
So, this is our second night. And so, got two little cute girls, and, everybody in the band had a crush on both girls, right?
And I don't blame you either, at all.
During the song, this was promoting the Love Shine LP. So we're out there to Make It Last, right, which starts with 8 bars of nothing but piano, right?
Right.
So, I had come up with this idea where everybody put down their instruments, and, we got this choir thing, just the piano, and it was very elegant looking, and, then I'm getting to the mic and saying, here we are, share it. I mean, the whole intro and the first verse is nothing but one voice and the piano, right?
Wow.
And so, I mean, it was supposed to be very romantic, very elegant. So I'm in the middle of doing this choreography, and then I'm hearing, wait a minute, the keyboard player is playing in the wrong key. So instead of going, here we are, I have to go, here we are. Neither of which obviously don't work, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
This is at the Jackson Coliseum, right? 10,000 people. The place is sold out. I'm sorry. This is the Commodores. Taste of Honey, ConFunkShun of the Commodores. So I'm like, oh, dang. So I break out of the choreography, and I elegantly glide over the keyboard player in front of 10,000 people, and I whisper, dude, you're in the wrong key. He keeps playing.
Wow.
You're in the wrong key. And he looks at me and he goes, huh? He goes, huh?
How do you manage to play with all the instruments that you do, like I said earlier, have command of, and just being, I mean, were you just a student of wanting to play everything so you can be able to be the best out of them all, or did you always have like a favorite?
I loved piano, but it seemed like every instrument that I was playing, I'd want to get into something else. So when I was taking trumpet lessons, I wanted to take piano. When I was taking piano lessons, I wanted to take guitar. Once I learned how to play guitar, then I wanted to learn how to play the bass. And, it's just, what's that saying, the grass is always greener. you know,
right.
I just kept learning stuff. And so by the time I joined Project Soul, I was playing trumpet, piano, and guitar. But when I joined the band, they already had the trumpet player, guitar player, and keyboard player, so I bought a trombone. I taught myself how to play that just to fatten up the sound. You know, and no, it wasn't so I could be the best at everything. I just wanted to keep learning more stuff. I never did get to be the best at any of it. You know, I played well enough for us to sound good.
Yeah.
And did my next record sound good? And that's about the best that I've gotten. But
it takes a lot of practice of just doing everything, not just the singing and playing your instruments at the same time, but also just being able to have everything organized with the rest of the group and just kind of, you know, putting that effort into it. It takes a lot of hard work, right?
That it does. I'll have to admit, there was a period of time when we were putting those tours together where we would spend literally 6 to 8 hours a day, every single day, rehearsing the show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, serious. I mean, we'd get up, and have a fine system. Everyone who was late had to pay $5 to everyone who was on time.
I heard that.
So,
that.
So it was a very serious thing. You had to be at work at 10 o'clock, and we were finished when we finished.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that. So, yeah, there was behind the scenes. There was a lot of hard work, a lot of hours put into it.
Very good, very good. Felton of ConFunkShun is our guest on Branded After Dark, and a couple of quick ones before we let you go. When it comes to, you know, the social media network grind that it is, you know, are you tweeting, Facebooking, Instagramming, or what else, websiting, whatever you want to call it? You doing all that stuff nowadays, man?
I have a website. It's Felton Pilot, you know, www.feltonpilot.com. And my name is spelled Felton and Pilate, like in the Bible.
Pilot.
Exactly where the name came from. And yeah, I'm the easiest guy to find because I am the only Felton pilot in the United States. So, dude, if you Google my name, it's me.
It's you. There's no sequel to you're the original, and you will stay original, right?
Exactly. I am unique. There's one other Felton pilot over in France somewhere. But other than that, if you Google my name, whatever link it is, that's me. So I'm on Facebook. I'm on I'm on Twitter. Twitter.
Twitter.
Twitter.
Well, what's your Twitter? What's your Twitter so the listeners can grab onto it and myself so I can hit you up with a tweet.
Felton Pilot. I just use my name.
Oh, okay, you use your name. Got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Felton Pilot at yahoo.com, Felton Pilot at mac.com, Felton Pilot at gmail.com. I mean, I am. Somebody please call me. I am so easy to find.
Hey, and like you said, you are the original. Don't, and people out there, don't forget it. If you guys want to hit this guy up, make sure you go ahead and Google this man and give him a holler. Get on Twitter, do what you need to do. But as a fan of your music for many moons, I got to tell you that I appreciate you taking the time out to hang out with us. And of course, we're gonna shout out your peoples that you work with, and of course Kevin Gray, who's also a real good guy. And shout out to him as well. He's definitely, a big ConFunkShun fan as well. So.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Thanks for the hookup. CJ Mack, my manager, Phil Arnold. I'm actually sitting here in the studio with a jazz guitarist named Lloyd Gregory. I produced the album on him about 2 years ago. We're getting started on his new CD, and he's on Stanley Clark. A quick shout out to Stanley Clark for letting me work on his album. Got a Grammy for that.
Oh, right. Okay. Very good.
Oh, Matt, I got to tell you this real quick. Yeah, he'd asked me would I write a song for him. I'm like, yeah. So I'm in the studio, I'm working, and then I get to the bass part, and I'm going, oh my God, I'm writing a bass part for Stanley Clark. I mean,
See, and as a man that's I'm sure you've been there, you've seen it all, done it all for the years that you've been doing that. So it's always one of those surreal moments where you can be able to just snap back and be like, hey, wait, how to have one of those out-of-body experiences. Wow, I'm really writing this thing for this guy or this girl or whoever, you know?
Man,
crazy, huh?
Man, it was a panic mode for me. I'm not a bass player. I mean, I know what the notes are, but you know, I'm writing a part for family class. That's like inviting Wolfgang Puck for dinner.
That's right. True that. True. Very true. Very true.
You know,
man. You know what? I definitely want you to, you know. Oh, you know what? One quick question I do have before I let you go is when you coming back to the Bay to do some shows?
We're not scheduled to be back in the Bay Area anytime soon. You know, we just finished doing both Sacramento and Oakland for New Year's Eve. And I just got sent the new schedule. I don't see anything on the schedule, but you know, it seems like every year we're going to be back to play either Solano County Fair or the Alameda County Fair, or Yoshi's. You know, so yeah, it'll be out. You know.
Okay.
If you go to ConFunkShunUSA.com and just check the schedule, you know, just click on the schedule. You know, skip past that boring intro and stuff, and just go straight to the schedule. You know, you can see where we're at.
But we're gonna have to make sure that you know you get plenty of dates back home, man, because you know we love you out here, but I know the other different cities and states want to share your talent too. So y'all can have them, but just remember, it's Bay Area all day. We love this guy. We love this guy. Hey, Fel, man, thank you, man, for coming on. And I got to tell you once again, as a fan first, I mean, it's an honor and a privilege. Like I said, I grew up, and you helped me grow up with the music and the memories and stuff that would last a lifetime. And not too many people, you know, not just in media, but just in general, probably won't show appreciation like this. But just thank you for giving us a God-given talent to share for generations on end. So thank you very much.
Man, it is my pleasure, and God bless you for you taking the time, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. It's Mr. Felton of ConFunkShun on Branded After Dark. We will be back.
Thank you for listening to the #1 radio station for the people.